My name is Paul Cameron. I'm a director and cinematographer. I predominantly was a cinematographer for about 30 years, and as a cinematographer, I shot films like Man on Fire, Pita! Collateral, Swordfish.
So how do I find him? You don't find him. He finds you.
Gone in 60 Seconds.
What do you think is more exciting, having sex or stealing cars?
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Find Sparrow for me and relay a message from Capitan Salazar.
Reminiscence. And currently been directing for 5 years on shows like Westworld for HBO.
In this world, you can be whoever you want.
The Terminalist.
An example needs to be made.
Thank you for your service. I'm offering you a chance to finish what you started.
Mayor of Kingstown.
I understand your influence within the prisons is unique. The answer is inside those walls.
And doing other shows for all the streamers out there. So that's it. My educational background, I went to the State University of New York, SUNY Purchase, outside of New York City. It's about 10 miles north of New York City. It's a state school. Was very fortunate there. I was trained kind of by a number of international filmmakers that came through the state school system. I became interested in cinematography by chance, per se. I mean, I grew up in New York City, and my brother was an actor on off-Broadway theater, and I saw a lot of people filming on the streets, like Woody Allen and Coppola and Scorsese and other New York filmmakers, and kind of was very interested in becoming part of that world. I felt like it seemed like a very exciting world, and found my way to kind of get to a camera crew, and they recommended I go to a camera rental place, and they gave me the name of somebody to meet, and I kind of just learned all the cameras and got into a union called NABIT before I graduated university, and was very kind of driven to work in the industry at a young age. I started my career, one film was pretty much the only primary capture. Of course, there was video, but it was an ENG world or television. But for me, shooting film was a fantastic experience. It's to take a film, literally through a laboratory where first you film it, and then after it's edited, you go in and you make the prints and you color time into the laboratory. And if you're doing certain photochemical processes, it's quite an interesting endeavor to take a movie through the lab. And then suddenly, I was asked to do a movie called Collateral. Michael Mann is the director.
There's a man named Vincent.
I got another DOA.
He's already killed witnesses. He's coming to kill you.
Max! I do this for a living!
I started looking at images, and we were taking some of the first digital still images where we could see into the night, and we wanted to find a way, how do we photograph nights like this? And I started testing the Sony 950 and pushing the ISO on that. And, inevitably Michael had used that system for a couple of shots with Emmanuel Lubezki on Miami Vice. They weren't very comfortable with it. I wasn't very comfortable with it, but made it a recommendation as a way to photograph the movie. And I didn't realize it was kind of the beginning of digital capture. Went on after that project shortly thereafter to do a movie called Swordfish, where I utilized the Genesis, Panavision Genesis camera for the first time. And that was the first feature used for Progenesis and digital capture, where I actually mixed half the film that's shot on film and half of it shot digitally. That was, whenever in 2006, so it was a little while ago. I've had the fortune of being, directing some episodes of Westworld and shot on 35mm film. So it's very unusual to have a television streaming show done on film, but Jonathan Nolan, the showrunner and director, writer on that, was very supportive of shooting it on film. Of course, from the Nolan family, and known as people that support film. But it's a little difficult with the transition into digital only because there's different studios, but that don't even want to consider film as primary capture, or they believe it's out of cost or something, and they don't see it as the possible right tool for capturing a certain project or filming a certain project. Where I've gone in as a director and said, well, let's shoot the series on 16 millimeter, and they look at me like I'm crazy, and I just think it's like, wow, to have the freedom of two small 16 cameras and a couple zooms, and we can just move around and get these shots to go quickly. And they don't see it that way. It's kind of they just see the new world of digital capture. Some of them. It's extremely exciting to see the kind of uh, revisiting of 70 millimeter film. I mean, it's just a fantastic format. 65 and 70 millimeter, about as good as it gets. And truly the IMAX film experience is so sensational. To have a camera negative that size, and it's really taking an industry that's the better part of 100 years old and seeking perfection in that, and it doesn't get any better than that on film. It's quite stunning, and it's nice to see filmmakers gravitating toward using 70 millimeter again, and many gravitating towards shooting on 35 millimeter again. I think it's a very different feeling shooting something on film, and it's hard to explain. It's I've done many tests and shown many filmmakers, side by side images of the best digital and the best film, and I will tell you, 95% of the time, the trained eye can see film, and it's still rewarding to me that people want to see film. Shooting digital, some of the best technology are some of the film scans that are out there on both 35 mil and now 70 mil film scans in 4K and 8K. I mean, there's companies that are doing that are just it's amazing, to add that texture later, but it's always a choice. And it's funny because I shot a film, Total Recall, for Sony Studios probably 15 years ago. On Red, it was one of the first Red features.
Tell us your fantasy. We'll give you the memory.
What is it? What's wrong?
It's all a mistake. Nobody.
We got this new film scan. It was a very rough film scan. Somehow we got it in, and we're able to use it at the DI and add it. We're so excited, the director and I, and show it to the heads of Sony, and they said, what's wrong? This looks like you shot it on film. Didn't you shoot it on the new digital format? And we were like, yeah. They were like, but that was then. This is now. We don't want this. We like the clean look we've been seeing on the tests and everything. So, needless to say, the film went out without texture on that. But that was the last film I've shot digitally that's gone out without texture on it. I started directing about 5 years ago. I was shooting Westworld. I shot the pilot for Westworld. I was doing some of the Western work and was helping with the new technology with LED walls, and Jonathan Nolan, the showrunner and creator, and his wife Lisa Joy were like, "Hey, you really, it's time for you to direct an episode." And so I took a shot, and of course, my first day is with Anthony Hopkins, Jeffrey Wright, Ed Harris, Tessa Thompson, Evan Rachel Wood, and Jane Mar. That's like the first day as a director, walking in with actors like that. So it's been a great challenge. I've been very fortunate working with good shows and good talent. So I'm very happy to have that opportunity. It's a new challenge, and I look forward to more of it. Yeah. The interesting thing, working with directors of photography are, I've had experiences with really top cinematographers and some younger cinematographers. And, because I've had such a big career as a cinematographer, many times I think there might, certain DPs might be intimidated, but I really feel like how I empower them is the most important thing. And I find like any good director who's empowered me, I brought something to the table. So now as a director, empowering them, like, seeing, both new and, more seasoned cinematographers bring something to the table, the more I get empowered to do it. So it's a great, but it's hard. You can't take the cinematographer out of the cinematographer, I'm afraid. It's, very, very much about the shot and where the camera goes is very important to me. That the most important thing for me is where the camera is emotionally. It's at a given time, because now I'm the one who goes in and does the edit and knows where the edits will be and what the effect needs to be in the audience more than I was as a cinematographer. I think as a cinematographer, the project I'm most proud of was probably the collaboration with Tony Scott on Man on Fire. I think that was just kind of a great creative collision at the time. He really let me run with a visual style with hand crank cameras and shooting reverse of film and developing it like a negative, so cross-process reversal film, and it was pretty extreme, but it was a fantastic collaboration. And I think as a director, certainly working on Westworld has been very rewarding, because I was there in the kind of conceptualization of it and was there all the way through the last season and directing on the last season. So to kind of close that out was a good experience. And, lately working on all the Terminalist series with Chris Pratt and the showrunner Dave DiGilio has been fantastic. They're such a great core group of people who've been wonderful.